I think we got it figured out. Let me make sure it's showing up on the other end. Okay, it's working. Sorry, so anybody who was sitting there for 4 minutes waiting, thank you for waiting. I don't know what happened, but my laptop, as soon as I hit start stream, everything just froze. I had to shut it down and restart it, but thank goodness the stream is still working. Let me make sure that they can see it. I know someone who's watching it, so let me see if they can see it now. Okay, all right. Welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay and the mix up there. Again, just some technical difficulties, but we're gonna get on and talk about the upcoming tournament. Couple things. We got to give a shout out to our sponsors this year. So our sponsor for the Angler of the Year this year is, I don't know why I don't have this. Everything just went to crap. So give me some. Give me a second to get this pulled up. Had it all ready to go. Okay. All right, there we go. Oops. Okay, so Ion Safety Consulting, Shane Anderson. It's a safety consulting company for businesses. So he donated $500 to Angler of the Year. So whoever wins Angler of the Year this year is going to get this. And I know he said he's coming for it. So hopefully he can do well and he gets a chance to do that. Another one of our sponsors, one of the best sponsors in the state, is 4-7 Lures. Guys, he sponsors everybody. He makes some good baits. Give him check him out. If you place at the last tournament, we will get used your soft plastics. And at this tournament, you will also get some soft plastics for placing. The weigh-in will be online at 5 p.m. tomorrow. You'll fish, and then you're welcome to leave once you're done with the tournament. And then if you place, I will contact you around 4:30. I will send you a message saying, hey, you placed. And then I'll send you a link. You'll hop on. You'll be on the live stream. Then we'll talk about how it went, what you caught them on, that sort of thing. Lake Robinson, Cunningham. First thing you need to know, it is a permit lake, so you're supposed to have a sticker or a permit to fish the lake. This is what I'm going to say. I do not want you to feel stressed out about that, where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to go pick up a permit, yada, yada, yada. I'm just going to be real with you. I fish the lake a lot. I fish both lakes a lot, and recently I fished them a lot. And usually I get a sticker every year, but it is really a pain in the neck to get a sticker. And the thing is, there's literally a sign on the warden's office that says, if nobody is in the warden's office when you get there, there's no meetup. There's no meetup afterwards. You just go home, and then I will do a live stream. Gary Gosman. I'm not sure who that is, but yeah, there's gonna be a live stream at 5 p.m. But anyways, so Robertson Cunningham, the pass thing. Like I said, if you go to the warden's office, on the door, it's going to say if there's nobody in the office, you're allowed to fish. So I would just treat it as such. If you show up on Sunday morning and they just open the gate, I promise you, nobody's going to be in the warden's office. You're probably going to be fine. I'm not guaranteeing that, just because I don't want to be liable if you get a ticket. But the odds of that are I'm not kidding, extremely low. I've been fishing for the past, how many months? 3 or 4 months I've been fishing on Robinson Cunningham without a pass, not on purpose. Every time I go to the warden's office, nobody's there. So, and I've fished, I've never had anybody look at me. Even when I did have a sticker, I've never had anybody approach me about it. They honestly, in my opinion, I don't think they give a crap. Because it just never, like I said, they never say anything. They never check you. And there's never anyone in the office. If you're planning to get a sticker, I would call before you go. Do not make that long drive to go get a sticker or pass and not make a phone call before you go. And there's been times, one time I called them and I said, hey, is anybody there? And they're like, right now we are. And I'm like, well, how long are you going to be there? And they're like, I'm the warden. He'll be there. The warden will be there. Hopefully he will. Hey, are you going to be in the office? Hopefully he's in the office. If he's in the office, you can get a pass from him. You can do a day pass, or you can do a year sticker. But like I said, it can be very challenging to get one at times. But yeah, If you can't make one, if you can't get one and there isn't someone there, then you're allowed to fish. That's what I know. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to be liable. But if you don't have one and there's not someone there to sell you the sticker, you're allowed to go. I'll leave it at that. I'm giving you all tickets. I think this guy's just giving us a hard time. I don't know who it is. But so rules for the tournament. Catch board. I know he allows a hog trough as well. You have to have a UKA identifier, or you can use one of those KBF stickers. I believe you can get them online pretty easily. You print them out. If not, reach out to Cam. He'll probably send you a link. I don't know where to find those. I have a couple identifiers. I'll bring an extra one just in case. And if you don't have one, I'll get it to you. In case if you see me at the ramp and you don't have something, just come up to me. I'll help you figure it out. And if you can't get something figured out, message one of us and we'll see what we can do. Okay. UKA has always been like a welcoming place, and we try to make sure everybody has a good time and they have a chance. Like, we don't want to ding you for something small. We just want you to fish. That's the way Cam has always run it. And that's what I really like about this club. I appreciate it. It is a beginner level club. So, mistakes are made. Don't feel a ton of pressure, but yes, you're supposed to use a UK identifier or a KBF sticker. All the same rules apply for every club. You got to, you got to have the fish on the board. The mouth has to be closed. It has to be touching the bump board. If the mouth is open, you're going to get a quarter deduction. Gosh, guys, I don't know why. I think it's after that, having that whole thing at the beginning with the computer shut down, messing up. Anyways, open mouth, you're going to get a 1/4 inch penalty. You can pinch the tail in this club. Some clubs don't do that. This club does. I know Queen City also lets you pinch the tail. So you're allowed to do that. You can give it a pinch to get a little bit closer, but make sure that fish's mouth is still touching and it's not open. And make sure your identifier is clear. This is on Tourney X. The entry fee is $50. I believe it pays out like $35 per angler. There's a bunch of Tourney X fees, and then some money is getting pulled and given to the TOC just because the club is in the beginning of stages of Tourney X. So we don't have a lot of sponsors, but in the next few years, we probably will have more sponsors. So some of that money is going to go to TOC for, big bass and for the winning pot. March 14th, tomorrow, is a deadline for signing up to be a member for UKA. So that gives you the chance to get into TOC. It gives you a chance to win biggest bass of the year, AOI, all those things. So you got to pay that by tomorrow. It's $25. There is a link. It's a separate PayPal link on the UKA page. If you're not sure where it is, message Cam, message me. We'll get it to you so that you can make sure you get in there. It's only $25. I think it's well worth it. You can win $500 for Angler of the Year. I think big bass. I don't know how much big bass is. I actually don't know at this point. I think it's $250, but don't quote me on that. And then also the TOC at the end of the year is going to be on Saluda Lake. I think it's top 10 AOI gets in. I'm going to have to check that again. I am not the I'm not the tournament director. I just am a guy who likes to help out. I will get some of those. It's 250. Okay, so that's 250. Cam is the tournament director. If you have extra questions, ask him. I believe he's going to do the top 10 for AOI. We'll get into the TOC. It's on a small lake that has some freaking giants in it. So sticker thing is taken care of, all that stuff. Sorry, gosh dang it, I'm losing my mind right now. Robinson, I'm going to pull up. I'm actually going to share the screen so you guys can see it. Where is oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. This is the most unorganized I've been on any podcast. I don't do well when plans don't go to plan. All right, here we go. Let's get this zoomed in on Robinson. I know where it's at. Like the back of my hand. It's in Greer, South Carolina. If you guys have never been, this lake is awesome. Both these lakes are freaking fantastic fisheries. Here we go. Now we got it, guys. We got it. Okay, so if you're going to Robinson, just so you guys know, if you've never been, the lakes, they have a gate that is open by the warden, which I don't know if there's a warden in the thing watching or not, but a warden opens the gate in the morning right when the sun comes up. A little bit about the fisheries. Robinson is 800 acres. It's much larger. It's the top lake. It's the lake up here, and Cunningham is just down below it. It's a 300-acre lake. Both of them have really big fish. I will say Robinson, in my opinion, has the bigger fish, like giants, and lots of them. I mean, you could go there in a day. I was going to have Tim on the podcast to help me with some of these things, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think he's told me that people have caught 30-pound stringers out of this little 800-acre lake. 30-pound bag. So there are freaking megas in there, and there's a lot of them. In June last year, I caught a 25 3/4 out of the lake on a jig. That's a freaking giant. And any other time of the year, it would have been to 10-pounder, but it was only 7.5 because she was so skinny. It was post spawn. But guys, there are freaking giants in Robinson. What I will say about Robinson is it is a tougher fishery. So yes, there are freaks in there, but it gets a ton of pressure, and they just are hard to get to bite. And especially on certain types of weather conditions, they get real lockjaw. But you'll see them on live scope. I can't tell you how many fish I saw in that 6 to 8 pound category. I went pre-fish there a couple last Sunday. I pre-fished there. I can't tell you how many fish I saw in that, I'd say 5 to 8 pound category, tons of them just floating around. Just positioned perfectly to catch on live scope with a jerk bait, but they would not commit. They would get real close to it. I just couldn't get them to bite. I got one fish that was nice, about a 19.5, and then I caught a 17 and a 15. The 17 and 15 I caught on a chatterbait, and the 19.5 I caught on a jerk bait. But I mean, it was a freaking grind. So just letting you guys know, Robinson, it does have the fish. That's the lake that has a really good chance of winning the whole tournament. Cunningham also has a lot of really big fish in it. This winter, I went down there and I caught 99 inches for 5. And 3 of them were all three of my bigs were 20 3/4. So there is big fish in there. I know a couple years ago, Tim Day caught a 23-incher out of there, and he tied for biggest bass of the year. I'm not sure about the water levels on either lake. The last time I was there, it looked normal to me. It did rain a little bit though, so that could have changed. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, Cunningham is a little bit easier to fish. There's more fish, but not as many giant fish. Does that make sense? That I think it's a little bit easier to catch them there. But again, there's not as many like freaking megas in there. Like, you want to catch a 10-pounder, go to Robinson. Don't even bother going to Cunningham, because I don't think you're going to catch one there. I mean, I guess it's possible, but the likelihood is much lower than if you went to Robinson's. That's what I'm putting out there. Easier to catch fish Cunningham, better chance catching a freaking giant on Robinson, but it's tougher to get them to bite. Just throwing that out there. Robinson, Robinson is guaranteed to be open on time. Okay. The sun comes up at 7:30, so that's probably when the gate is going to get open. Robinson, 1,000% is going to be open at 7:30. If you want to start setting up a little bit earlier, I'm going to show you. This is the ramp right here. Boom. If you want to set up early, come over to this gas station right here. There's plenty of parking. You could also park kind of near Cole's Bait and Tackle, and just set up there, get started. And then when it's time for the tournament, or once they open the gate, then you can drive in there and get in the water. Lines in is at 8 a.m. and lines out at 2 p.m. The reason I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, we're going to miss out on that morning bite. The thing is, we don't want somebody to not get to start fishing like when it's lines in. Like, let's say lines in comes in, maybe they open the gate late or something, or you didn't have time because the gate was closed, whatever. For whatever reason, you couldn't get in the water at 7:30. So now you're late. Or like the gate opens at 7:30 and we have some people launching at Robinson that by the time you get in the water, it's already lines in. We just didn't want to do that. So it starts at 8 a.m. Okay. That gives you 30 minutes from the time the gate opens till you're in the water to go fish. Okay. And then last cast is at 2 p.m. Last submission to Tourney X is 3 p.m. So make sure that you submit those fish before 3 p.m. and you have from 8 to 2 p.m. That is 6 hours. Now, as for Cunningham, I will say this with our warden in the chat. There has been times that Robinson does not get open on time. It is kind of unpredictable. I'm just putting that, like I said, it's easier to catch fish there, but there is a chance that it doesn't get opened on time. Not to discourage you from going to Cunningham, because that's probably where I'm going to end up going, I think. I don't know. I have not decided yet, but there's a good chance that's where I'm going. Not to discourage you from going there, but sometimes they don't open the gate on time. We've had a tournament there. I think it's happened twice. I'm not 100% sure. I think it happened twice where the gate was not open when it was supposed to be. And one time we all just like parked out right out on the street going up to it. And I don't remember how long it took. We were there for 30, 45 minutes before they opened that gate. So that's just something to look out for. I'm going to show you guys. If you're going to Cunningham, this is what I always do. There's a little church down the road, right? Okay, so here's the ramp. Before you get to this road right here, just straight across this church parking lot, it's huge and it's never busy. That's where I would go to set up before the tournament. That's what I always do. And then when I'm done fishing, I always drive over there too, because I'll go late in the day and then I'll leave like last minute. I drive over there and I just take care of my business. I unload my stuff back into my car in that parking lot. So I would go there, set up, and then when the gates open, head over. But just the warning, guys, one more time, be careful. There is a chance they won't open it on time. One time I went to Cunningham in like February a couple years ago. This is a long time ago, but it was raining like crazy. And I think that maybe the warden didn't think that anybody was going to even try to fish. They didn't open the gate till like 9 a.m. So I just want you guys to be careful and don't be surprised if you show up, it's not open like it's supposed to be. All right. Both lakes. Let me get into some of these deets. Like I said, I was gonna have somebody on. They didn't make it tonight, which is not a big deal. But or if you have any questions, guys, please ask in the chat so I can help you out. But both lakes have bass in them that are Florida strain. Florida strain act a little bit different to weather patterns than northern strain bass like. So for example, and this is not to discourage anyone, there will still be plenty of big fish caught. Florida strain bass, they like it sunny and they like stable conditions. Tomorrow, not sunny, cloudy, little breeze. So that could make it a little bit of a tough bite. I could be totally wrong. This is just information that I've read online about them. And I know that there is Florida strain bass. That's why they're so freaking big. But they get really fickle to certain weather patterns. They do not react well to cold snaps. Obviously, most bass don't, but they're still usually really catchable. But Florida strain bass can get real tricky when that happens. I know for sure that they're eating a minnow. They're going to eat a jerkbait. And one of the most popular lures that people catch really big fish on Robinson with is an A-rig. So if you don't have one of those three lures on and you have your live scope, obviously is going to help, but you can throw an A-rig, a jerkbait. You can throw those without live scope. But those are two really solid baits that I have heard many people catch a lot of big fish. Last year, one of the guys that was on the podcast team, he caught a 24.5 on an A-rig. They eat the A-rig there, guys. They chew it up. Throw it over brush piles. I personally never catch fish that are just roaming on an A-rig, but maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. I usually catch them, especially there, I catch them throwing it over brush piles. Or if I see fish attacking a bait ball, like if I find a bait ball and there's fish smashing it, I'll just reel the A-rig through the bait ball, and a lot of times they'll smash it. Both lakes I've done that quite a bit. But guys, they can be tough. Just keep that in mind. But if you catch them, they can be real big. I'm telling you guys, I saw some absolute freaks on Robinson last Sunday, like giant, and they're all up shallow. Like they're up in like, either right up against the bank all the way to about 10 feet out. And if they are out in the deeper water, they're right under the surface. They're just floating around. They're getting ready to spawn, guys. Once that water gets consistent, they're gonna start doing that. But that right now is the time to catch some giants. I think you guys should be really hyped for this one. Again, hog trough or a catch board. That's it. UK identifier or, gosh darn it, or a KBF sticker. 8 a.m. lines in because we have to make sure the gate's open. 2 p.m. lines out. You have 1 hour to submit your fish. There is no meeting after the tournament's over. Once it's over, just go home. We're going to have an online weigh-in at 5 p.m. I will message you personally. We'll do a little podcast. We'll talk to you about how you caught them. Robinson, big, 800 acres. Cunningham, small, 300 acres. Robinson, way bigger fish, a little harder to catch. Cunningham, still big fish, a lot easier to catch. Robinson, the gate is definitely going to be open. Cunningham, it might be open, it might not. That's just a warning. As for the stickers, guys, I wouldn't stress about it too much. Try to go get them. If nobody's there, you're allowed to fish. That's the rule. That's what the sign on the door says. That's what I go with. I have attempted to get a sticker so many times. Like every time I go to get a sticker, no one's in the office. So that has just been my experience. No offense if there really is a warden, or if take offense and start staying in the office so we can get those stickers. But yeah, you can do a $5 day pass if you do go, or you can pay for the sticker. It's more expensive if you have a motor. I think it was like, gosh dang, I don't remember. I think it was 70 or 80 bucks for a sticker with a motor. If you don't have a motor, then it's only 25 and it lasts the whole year. And guys, if you're close to these fisheries, I'm telling you, if you live close to Greer, like, I would get a sticker and go fish the crap out of those lakes because they are so much fun and they have lots of big fish. Cunningham has some grass in it. If you've never been there, there is some grass. It's vegetation. They're like lily pads, but I don't think they're lily pads. There's something a little bit different. I don't know what they're called. If somebody knows what they're called, put it in the chat because I don't know. They're not like, lily pads are big and flat. They're like smaller. They're about this big, the leaves, but they all are emergents. They all come out of the water. They sit in like differing depths. Like the backside is probably they're in this deep of water, but there's fish that get that shallow, guys. It's pretty crazy. Bait fish, there's a very small population of gizzard shad. I know for some of you might not think that's super important, but you would not believe, like I've learned this in the past year or so, like how different fish will act depending on the type of bait fish that live in the lake. So the main forage species is threadfin shad, bluegill, and white perch. And right now the white perch are spawning. So there's tons of white perch just swimming around. And I was catching them the other day. And when I'd pick them up, they would just spray their stuff all over my kayak. So they're definitely spawning. So that probably makes it a little bit easier for predator species to get them. Because think about it, like just like any like shad, when they're spawning, they're an easier target. Bluegill, when they're spawning, easy target. Same thing with white perch. They're spawning right now. So that means bass, are, especially the big ones, are probably eating them. So maybe going with a little bit bigger profile bait might be a good idea. I know both lakes have a lot of white perch. Cunningham is freaking loaded with white perch. Also, I would say another forage species is crappie. Cunningham and Robinson have a lot of crappie, but Cunningham has, just so you got, if you end up going fishing, you get a sticker. Cunningham has some freaking giants in it. I have caught so many crappie out of there they're like 16 inches at least. I think the biggest one I caught was 16 and a half. That's a freaking giant crappie. I know someone caught a 17-incher last year in May when we went there. He was shaking a minnow. You can shake a minnow on there, but just so you guys, another detail I forgot to point out is Robinson is pretty deep. The deepest water is about 40 foot. Cunningham is very shallow. The majority of the lake is 10 to 15 at the deepest. And on the lower end, you can get some water that's about 20 feet. So it's a shallow lake. Again, another reason that I think personally that it's easier to fish. When it's really deep like that, it's easier for them to go hide somewhere. Not so easy to hide when the water's a little bit shallower. But if everybody goes to Cunningham, it could make it really tough because obviously you're going to be bumping shoulders at 300 acres. That's a really small fishery. Anybody have any questions? I tried to run through this pretty quick and make sure I repeated myself in case you watched through. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning and a little bit of the stuttering and stuff. I got a little mixed up. That threw me off my game. Me, guys, I'm going to be throwing a jerk bait. I'm just telling you that right now. So if you see me on the leaderboard doing good, very high chance I'm throwing a jerk bait. When the water's below 70 degrees, I love throwing it on live scope. I might switch it up. Maybe they'll bite a worm or something. I might throw a glide bait, but there is a really good chance I'll be throwing a jerk bait. So just wanted to put that out there. I think they're going to bite it. It is going to be cloudy, but again, it could throw them off. But I just think it's easier for me to throw a jerk bait and get them to react than throwing a minnow, because you can't make them react on a minnow. So if they don't want to bite it, they're not going to bite it. But a jerk bait, you can kind of trick them into, like, you give them a little cat and mouse. You can do so many things. You could reel it, you could twitch it, you could pull it. There's so many things you can do with a jerk bait to kind of make them just react. And then you have those 3 trebles. So if they just kind of nip at it or swipe at it, you have the chance of just something catching them on the side of the face, under the chin, on the nose. Like, just one little hook has to hit them, and then they're hooked, not pinned. You might lose them, but that's why I like to throw a jerk bait. You could probably get away with a lot of stuff. Like I said, last time I was there, I caught a couple on I caught some on a chatterbait. I caught some on a shaky head as well on Robinson. All the ones I caught on the shaky head were like this big. I'm dead serious. They were like less than 12 inches. But that could be a keeper. If you need to get a keeper and you're not sure how, throw a worm on there. But my biggest was caught on a jerk bait, and that's probably what I'll throw all day. I don't know how if it's gonna change much throughout the day. I don't understand those fish when the weather's like this. I think they're going to probably stay positioned the same way from morning to evening. They'll just be a little more bitey in the morning, but I don't think the way they position themselves will change throughout the day, just because the clouds, it's going to be low light conditions all day. So on Cunningham, the last time I was there in conditions like this, it was in like January, cloudy. The fish were really up shallow, even in January, where the water was like, I think it was 49 degrees. It was very cold. The bait was right up against the bank. It was really interesting. The bait all pushed up against the bank. And then I've noticed, and so, the bass are obviously there too. And then when it's sunny, sometimes like towards the middle of the day, those big bass will just come suspend over the creek channel. So like you'll see, like, just depending on the day, they could be in different places. That was in the winter. We're in the spring, so they're probably going to be trying to push up towards the bank into those little shallow flats and looking for a place to spawn, probably looking to eat something. Hopefully they're chewing, guys. I'm thinking it'll take about 55 to win. If it's let's say this. If it's a tough bite, the temps was 59 degrees on Robinson. I did not fish Cunningham. I only fished Robinson. Water temp was close to 60 degrees. Water visibility was great. It's super clear. I imagine it's the same at Cunningham, but Robinson, it was, I would say, 3 to 4 feet. It was some of the best water clarity I've seen all year there. I fished there quite a bit. Very good water clarity. And I imagine Cunningham's the same, but that one's a little more susceptible to getting muddied up because it's smaller and there's a little creek that comes in. Robinson, however, on the upper end of the lake, let me pull this back up. On the upper end, there is some creeks that come in, or there's a creek. So this section up here is a little bit shallower. It could be warmer, especially after today's warm day. This could be a really solid area. I don't never go up there, but it could be a little bit dirtier. It is shallower. I think it's only about 10 feet through here, so it could be a little bit easier. Lots of laydowns, wood stuff. You could go up there if it's really muddy. You could throw a spinner bait, a little square bill if it's a little clearer. And then, of course, if they're out there in that area and they're suspended, you could probably catch them on a jerk bait as long as it's not too muddy. Brandon Hall caught a 23. God dang. See that. So Cunningham's got him, guys. That place has got him too. That is probably where I'm going to go myself. But again, super sunny, nice conditions today. Dang, that's exciting. Oh, if you guys didn't see that, the identifier code will be available at 6 a.m. on Tourney X. If you guys don't know how to use Tourney X, reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me, anybody. Shaking a minnow. Nice, man. That's awesome. So, hey, they're biting the minnow. But if it gets tough, Jerkbait might be the option, guys. Might be a good way to go. Both lakes, I'm telling you, they got them, guys. I'm going to see what the weather was today. That's awesome, Brandon. Congratulations on that fish. I did actually see your post. I didn't know it was at Cunningham, though. That's pretty cool. Let's see. So today, it was a chilly day with a cold wind, but it was sunny. It could be interesting, guys. We could see some crazy. Did you catch any more big ones, Brandon? Was that 23 and a half the only big one you caught, or did you catch any more? Let's see if he hears me. He might. Dang, Hands on Adventure might go live. That'll be cool. No, sir, it was tough. Yeah, see, you guys, it is like the weather today was like it was chilly with a breeze. They don't like that cold snap stuff, so it could be tough tomorrow. I mean, sorry, not tomorrow. It could be tough, but I think it's actually warming up tomorrow. Let me see. So tomorrow is super warm. It goes to 72, nice and sunny. And then Sunday, it's cloudy again. The clouds might throw them off. I'm just going to put that out there. But somebody caught a 23 and a quarter. I think if it's tough, 55 inches wins it. I think somewhere in that 23 inches is going to be big bass. But there's also a chance someone catches, I'm not kidding you, we could see a 25 or a 26. That's how crazy Robinson is. Obviously, that's kind of a shot in the dark, but it is possible. Like I said, I caught a 25 3/4 out of there. They're in there. There are big fish left. People, I think the biggest one caught out of there was 14 pounds out of Robinson. So there are absolute freaking tanks in there. If for however the bite switches up and they're on, we could see a crazy limit. We could see a limit you'd never seen before in your life for 3 fish. So for example, that day that I caught a 25 3/4, I also caught 2 21 and a halves. It was like 67 inches for 3 fish. So we could see that, especially in the springtime, if they're really chewing, like all those fish I saw floating at Robinson, if they're biting, we could see real close to 70 for 3. Like it is really that, these lakes are really that good, but it could be really tough. And if it is, I think 55, it still takes close to 55 to win it. You might only catch 4 or 5 fish, but if 3 of them are good, they could be real good. I think I've said all I could say. I'm really excited about this one, guys. Regardless if it's tough or not, these are both really fun fisheries. I really enjoy myself on Cunningham. That's actually one of my favorite lakes to fish in the state. Probably that one and Saluda they're just so much fun because they're small. There's not a lot of pressure. There's not a bunch of big boats down there. And usually I bump into some cool people. That would have been cool to bump into Brandon and Jeremy. I'm sure they're really cool. I've talked to Brandon. I've never really met Jeremy, but Brandon Hall's a really cool guy. Good fisherman on Lake Norman, especially. But anyways, guys, I think that's all I got. It's been 37 minutes. Thank you for all you who watched the whole video. I really appreciate that. And I hope to see some of you Sunday. And I can't wait to do the weigh-in and talk to whoever does good. Hopefully Brandon Hall catches himself another 23 and I get to interview him for big bass or maybe just taking the whole tournament. But you guys have a good night. We'll see you on Sunday. If you have any questions, go message Cam right away. Text him on Facebook Messenger. His name on Facebook is Yak Bassin. I call him Cam. That's his name, but Cameron Young. But if you can message him on Facebook under Yak Bassin. If you can't get a hold of him or whatever, you're not friends with him for whatever reason, just message me. I can help you. And the first person that I message after you message me is Cam. He's the tournament director. I'm just helping out, guys. I just love fishing. I love UKA. I'll always support them. I try to support every club that I can. So that's why I do this. But anyways, all right. Shutting it down. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.